You could feel the air leave the studio for a brief, electric second, right when Dawn French delivered two words that instantly shattered the casual morning banter. There is a very distinct kind of live television magic that happens when a national treasure decides to completely bypass the unwritten script. But what transpired during that exchange felt like a masterclass in comedic shutdown. One moment, Eamonn Holmes was navigating that familiar, cheeky daytime presenter charm, and the next, Dawn landed a shutdown so sharp and effortless that it left everyone in the room catching their breath. Dream on. Just two short words, but the emotional weight behind them sent shockwaves through the studio set and straight into living rooms across the entire country. What made the moment so completely unforgettable wasn't just the words themselves, but the agonizingly brilliant pause that hung in the air right after. You could see it on the screen, that split-second freeze where the studio cameras seemed almost uncertain of where to look. Eamonn's face briefly flickered through a rapid sequence of genuine surprise, mild embarrassment, and a quick attempt to laugh it off with his trademark Irish charm. But the audience watching at home saw right through the polished TV exterior. When Dawn French recounted knocking him back for a kiss with that wicked, knowing smile of hers, it wasn't just light-hearted banter. It felt like a rare, unfiltered peek behind the velvet curtain of British broadcasting history. Replaying that moment on Good Morning Britain, the commentators couldn't help but lean into the fascinating awkwardness of it all. You could see the morning hosts squirming slightly in their seats, caught somewhere between uncontrollable laughter and the professional urge to keep the live broadcast on track. That is the quiet genius of someone like Dawn French. She possesses an innate, almost surgical ability to dismantle inflated television egos without ever losing an ounce of warmth or public affection. For viewers watching from home, it felt like sitting in a living room while two old industry friends playfully settled a decades-old score on national television. When you look closely at how British audiences reacted online, the sentiment was immediate and overwhelming. Social media channels instantly caught fire with replayed clips of the exchange, with fans dissecting every subtle eye shift, every nervous chuckle, and the undeniable tension beneath the laughter. Some viewers interpreted the moment as pure comedic gold, a master comedian doing what she does best on live TV. Others, however, felt a strange, compelling discomfort watching a veteran broadcaster get so thoroughly and publicly put in his place. It raised a fascinating psychological question that kept viewers debating online. Where does friendly live TV flirtation end, and where does genuine boundary setting begin? There is something intensely hypnotic about watching live daytime television when the carefully constructed gloss suddenly peels away. For decades, male television presenters have relied on a certain brand of flirty, confident banter to keep morning shows feeling cozy, familiar, and accessible. But when someone like Dawn French steps onto that couch, that traditional dynamic gets completely inverted. She doesn't play the receptive guest, she controls the room entirely. When she shut down the idea of that kiss with a blunt, "Dream on," she reasserted a level of narrative power that felt deeply satisfying to millions of women watching at home. It was hilarious, yes, but beneath the laughter was a quiet lesson in confidence wrapped in comedic perfection. Analyzing the body language in those crucial few seconds reveals a story far deeper than the surface-level tabloid headlines suggested. Notice how Dawn leaned in slightly, locking eye contact with absolute conviction right before dropping the punchline. There was no hesitation, no polite giggling to soften the blow, just pure, unadulterated comic timing honed over decades on stage and screen. Meanwhile, Eamonn's subtle shift back into his chair and the quick adjustment of his jacket revealed a man momentarily stripped of his broadcaster armor. It was a fleeting instance of genuine human vulnerability, the exact kind of unscripted reality that morning producers pray for but can never truly manufacture. What makes segments like this resonate so deeply with morning television audiences is that they tap into universal social experiences. We have all been in a room where someone tries their luck just a bit too confidently, only to be met with a swift, playful rejection that reestablishes the balance. Watching two iconic media figures navigate that exact dynamic under blinding studio lights creates a weirdly cathartic experience for the audience. We aren't just watching celebrities exchange quips, we are watching human nature play out in real time, filtered through the unique, dry lens of British comedy culture. As the Good Morning Britain team broke down the clip, discussing the long history and mutual respect between the two stars, the commentary shifted from pure amusement to a broader reflection on broadcast chemistry. Moments like this survive in the public consciousness because they feel earned. They come from decades of shared space in the British media ecosystem, where genuine warmth and sharp edges frequently coexist. The heavy silence right after Dawn's remark wasn't a cold or hostile silence. It was a loud, joyous, incredibly British moment of triumph for real, human unpredictability over rehearsed PR soundbites. In the end, what stayed with viewers long after the broadcast finished wasn't any sense of malice, but the absolute brilliance of a woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to say it on live television. It leaves you wondering how many other unscripted behind-the-scenes moments have dissolved into laughter before reaching the airwaves. Did that hilarious, slightly awkward exchange leave you laughing along with Dawn, or did you feel a sudden wave of secondhand cringe for Eamonn standing under those studio lights? Let me know what went through your mind when you saw that moment unfold down in the comments below.